little too close. Back it up.
What's going on, everybody?
All the way. What up?
You know, I heard growing up that, you know, my parents always wanted to say that when you were going to get married, you had to be Mr. Right and you had to look for Mrs. Right, right? And you know, dating for a while, that's what I would always look for, is that Mrs. Right. Well, come to find out, Mrs. Right doesn't exist, and Mr. Right doesn't exist. That's just a frickin' pipe dream. So what I ended up finding was some unfortunate soul that wanted to put up with my shit for the rest of her life, right? But when it when it came time to get married, she just kind of looked at me and said, "There's one thing I got to warn you about. I'm really anal. I'm really anal." Apparently there's two different types of anal, and she's not the right one. But being married for 21 years, there is a certain time of the month that I just despise, okay? And most guys know what that is. The bad part is you know, that's the time I want to fool around. I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's something in the air or what the hell's going on, but I want to fool around. She tells me no. So I'm like, what the hell? Just because the water park's broken doesn't mean the rest of the park has to, you know, shut down, does it? I don't understand that. It's just a water ride, for Christ's sake. You know, and she'll just give me that look. I'll see those red, beady fucking eyes coming out of me, you know, and I'll look at her, you know, it's like playing emotional Jeopardy. You know, like, fuck, I'll take what I do wrong now for $100. What the hell do I got to lose, right? You know, and you see all these commercials for tampons. Smiling, beautiful women, harps playing in the background. Bullshit. Okay? Because in reality, she's up in the bathroom, the tampon's singing stuck in the middle of you, while she's singing Some Heads Are Gonna Roll from Judas Priest, because that's the way it really works. Am I right? Let me see a show of hands if that's how it works. The ladies aren't laughing, but you know, in defense of the ladies, though, I can kind of understand. I mean, you know, I wouldn't want to be bleeding like a stuffed pig either for an entire week. But you know what? It's not the guy's fault, for Christ's sake. Open up the park and let us play. The problem with this, though, is you always get a sweet tooth, right? I'm sitting in bed. My wife's like, I got a sweet tooth. What does she do? She goes downstairs. Now, I've been without it for, I won't say the truth, but a while. She goes downstairs and gets a popsicle, comes upstairs and just starts this way with a popsicle. You don't do that to a guy that you're just teasing, for Christ's sake. You don't do that, okay? And then what happens for that week? The guy's waking up with morning wood, all right? Right? The problem is when you wake up with morning wood, that's like dealing with a fucking sledgehammer. It ain't going anywhere, okay? It makes peeing really difficult. You're sitting here like this. You're trying to bend this thing down. It's not bending anywhere. You're trying to do this. You know, it's like, I'm just going to bank it off the walls and do something, for Christ's sake. That's why the ladies want us to lift the lid. We're just going to splash it, okay? Here lies the problem, though, because if you got to take a dump with a heart on, that sucks, because if you sneeze, you're going to poke yourself in the fucking eye. Yes, it's happened. Not all white guys are little. How many married people we got here tonight? How many single people we have here tonight? Yeah. Here's a big difference between being married and single. When you're single, you get to go out. When you're married, you get out. I mean, it's that simple. Okay? Being married, that's like kind of, I don't know. I've been married, like I said, 21 years. Okay? Dude, do me a favor, get away from Dave, because I'm sitting here thinking, man, my time already? When you're married for as long as I have, okay, you know, it starts off really good. You get to do things and experience things, but then it just gets boring, kind of like, oh, I don't know, that old Motorola block phone. You know, there's just nothing to do with it. There's just plain Jane buttons. When you're single, you got like an iPhone. All these goddamn applications, right? You don't have to check in with anybody. You don't have to tell anyone where you're going, what time you're coming home. If you want to watch a movie on your little iPhone, the goddamn phone doesn't turn itself off because it wants to talk to you. If you're playing a video game, it doesn't turn it off going, can you pay attention to me? No. There's big differences. Big differences, okay? And one of the things that I noticed, all right, besides the phones, is when it comes to raising kids. My wife has got like 16 levels of getting pissed off. Okay? Because they start off really nice and really happy and they try and negotiate with their kids. Me, I go from calm to fucking silverback gorilla in about 3 seconds. Okay, my wife's trying to negotiate to get the kid to go up to the bed. And all of a sudden she's like, you know what? You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go. I'm stomping my foot. Ed, take care of it. You have 2 options. You can walk or fly. What's it going to be? Am I right, dads? We don't know negotiating. It's our way or no way. Right? Another thing with phone applications, or I should say with being married, okay, is there comes a point where I guess the spice runs out of the marriage because you're involved with your job. I'm not talking to you like picking on you, but you know what? You're looking at me and it's like I think we're bonding, so I'm just gonna look at you right now, okay? What ends up happening, okay, is the spice just kind of runs out, okay? Because you're worried about taking the kids. You know, who's gonna take little Johnny to soccer practice? Who's gonna make little Sally her lunch? And it's like, fuck. What about me? What about me? That's all guys. What about me, right? Let me tell you something. I got 4 kids, like I said, and I get a kick out of these parents that say having 1 kid is so hard. Bullshit. That's like owning a pet, for Christ's sake. You're a fucking hobbyist. You're a hobbyist. If you got 1 kid, right? If you got 2, you can sit there and go, you got 1, I got 1, we're good to go. Because it's still like having 1 kid. You can still go to sporting events. You get 3, now it starts getting fucking complicated. I got a kid, you got a kid, we got a free agent sitting there. And if this one pisses me off, I'm just going to sign the free agent to a game-to-game contract. Am I right? You better hope at least one of them is really good in sports, because that's the game you're going to go to, because now you only got 2 cars. You only got 2 cars. 4 kids. I prayed 2 of them got along. I prayed 2 of them got along. And they did, and those are the games I went to. So, that's my time, people. I'm going to let you go. Give it up for all the comics coming up tonight. I appreciate it.